fast with it. Hop in the rental, hit the gas, and I dash with it. Big facts, dumb bitch tryna smash. Hopped in my lane, so I had to run it back. Gang shit.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Hvdrooo. Welcome back to another video. So I'm sure that most of you that are subbed to me right now are not expecting this video right now, and I'm sure a lot of you actually didn't know that I am a thumbnail designer. On my channel, I post primarily clip videos. However, I have said a few times that I do make my own thumbnails, but it's not a very big question. I've been asked a few times if I make my own thumbnails or not, and I've been asked also a couple of times to do a tutorial, not mainly in my YouTube comments, but on Twitter, because that's when I do post a lot of my work on there. So in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to make 3D Fortnite thumbnails with SFM. Now, of course, you are going to have a computer for this. If you don't have a PC or a laptop, then this is not going to be possible. Unfortunately, they don't have like a little SFM app for, like, you know, Android or iOS. Hopefully they make that in the future, but for right now, you can only do this on the computer. Now, I have download links to everything that you will need to make 3D thumbnails in the description. You will need, of course, Steam, because that's how you're going to download your Fortnite models. You're going to need Source Filmmaker, which is the software you make the thumbnails in, and then you're also going to need Hvdrooo, which you're going to make them in, called Hvdrooo. Now, I'll leave a link to the video where you can actually download that. It's fairly simple. However, that's not what the video is going to be mainly about. And then also, you're going to have like Photoshop or something like that. It's very easy to crack, or however you edit your thumbnails in. But anyways, let's get straight into this. So first off, let's actually show you how to download your models. So once you download Steam, if you don't have it already, you want to make an account, and then what you're going to want to do is you're going to be on your library page. You're going to want to go over to community, go down to workshop. Once you're in here, you want to do search for workshop, type in Source Filmmaker. If you do it, yeah, it should come up just if you type source. Once you do that, you're in Source Filmmaker now. You want to type Fortnite or whatever type of models you're looking for. And a lot of the recent models that people have posted and stuff like that will come up. So I haven't actually downloaded a lot of these because I haven't been on the workshop in a while. But they have some of the newer skins, like the Iconic, the Malice. I'll give you guys a couple of people I definitely do suggest getting models from. Definitely Mr. Schlapla. He's definitely a very active person over here. As you can tell, he has 624 followers on Steam. And then another popular, but this guy creates the most high quality models for sure. His name is ArcanetCZ. So if you're looking for models, make sure you definitely go to this guy, the most high quality models on Steam. So I'll teach you guys how to actually download a model now. So let's say you wanted to download the Sunstrider. Basically what you want to do is you want to click on it. Once you click on it, as you can tell, I'm already subscribed to the model, but there would be a subscribe icon here. You would want to hit subscribe. Once you do that, you're going to want to open Source Filmmaker. I'll do something, for example, just real quick. Like, let's see, I'm pretty sure I don't have I don't have Suntan Specialist downloaded, so I'll download that. I'll subscribe to it. We'll open Source Filmmaker, and I'll show you guys how to actually import it into there. When you open up Source Filmmaker, you will be granted with this is nothing confusing at all. Basically what you want to do is you can choose whatever frame rate you want. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes I just leave it on 24, sometimes I put it on 60 to have max resolution while you're actually working. That's not how the model is going to turn out. I'll show you guys the best rendering settings when you actually do render out your models, and then just click on create. It's as simple as that. And then basically whatever models you have downloaded, they will pop up right here. So as you can see, Fortnite Suntan Specialist, we'll go ahead and click OK. Sometimes this will pop up as well. Just click yes to all. Nothing will happen to any of your models. It just says that. And as you can tell, all files downloaded from the Steam Workshop. Click OK. Now what you're going to have to do to actually have the models in Source Filmmaker now is close it out and then reopen it. So that's how you actually get the models to load in. Now, once you guys have downloaded Hvdrooo, this should be the point where you guys have Hvdrooo downloaded and can enter Hvdrooo into Source Filmmaker. You guys are going to want to right click onto the black screen, click on the load map, and then if Hvdrooo isn't here, then you did something wrong. Go back to the video and check, but Hvdrooo should be right here. If not, you can also try and search it up right here. So Hvdrooo, and it should pop up that way. Just double click it and it's loading right now. Now, depending on how good your PC is, it might take a minute to load. It might take 5 minutes. Not too sure how good your PC is, but there we go. It loaded because I've already had Source Filmmaker open a couple of times. It tends to do that. Now, mine might look a little bit different because I have customized the windows, but pretty much there's two things that you want to do. first off is that you're going to want to go down to these two arrows going in a clockwise direction, which is the rotate tool. You're going to want to click on that. And then also wherever your timeline tab is, which should be down here once you first download it, you're going to want to click on this little orange thing right here, aka the motion editor, and then click on that. Now go back to your primary viewport, and now you're all set to go. Now to actually import your models to SFM, I will actually show you one really cool thing to start off, which is going to make them importing to Photoshop a lot easier. Go back to Steam, and a very important model that you're going to want to download is, once we get back to the home page, is actually search up green screen. Now this is going to make it very easy to get everything out of Photoshop. I forget which one I downloaded. Now the one that I personally have downloaded, and I mean it's worked well for me, is this one by Ninja Cookie. So you should see this when you search up green screen. Click on that, go through the same process which I mentioned earlier. Click on subscribe, go through the process of reopening Source Filmmaker. Now, how to actually import models into SFM is you're going to want to right click on the animation set editor in this blank space and go to create animation set for new models. So then click on that. Now you should just be able to search up green, and then it should pop up like this, tool/green_plane. Click on that, and then this is how it's going to appear right here. Now you're probably confused because it's only like a third of the screen. This is the whole reason why we clicked on the rotate tool. So you're going to want to click control, and then you should see this little dot right here, static prop. Go ahead and click on that, and there's a bunch of directions you can turn it, like this, blah blah blah. So we'll undo all that real quick. To undo, it's just Control Z on your keyboard. So let's say we do that like that, Control Z. Control Z, that's how you reset stuff or undo it. We're gonna actually want to go on this one right here where you update it down or up, and just make it so it's in the center of that dot right there. Now when you zoom out, it's not going to be the biggest green screen in the world, so to actually change that, we'll zoom out again. Right click on the model over here, go to utilities, and then click on add scale control to models. Once you do that, left click the model, and then you should see right here root transform underscore scale. Raise that all the way up so you have the biggest green screen possible, and then you can zoom back in. I'll show you guys how to zoom in and out in just a second once we get a model, so it's a lot more easy to demonstrate. So we'll actually get a skin in here now. If you search in your MDL files right here, you should be able to find any one. So we'll just search up Fortnite, and I have a lot of models. So actually we'll just search up the gold, because I use the gold trooper in a lot of my thumbnails. So once we have that, as you can see, we have the gold trooper. Now a very good tip is to actually switch between your cameras. So this is how it'll actually appear once you first get your model. I was in the work camera for a second, which I'll demonstrate what that is later. But camera one right here, basically how to zoom in, out, left, and right is you're gonna want to actually hold left click on the screen, and then you want to click W to move forward, S to move backwards, A to move left, and D to move right. So that's how you reposition stuff, and you know, you can do anything you want. It should be very smooth. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set camera one, the camera that you should be on right now, to the position that you want to have your thumbnail at. So we'll do something like this right here. I usually position them to the left kind of, or to the right. I think we'll do it to the left this time. Now to move down or up, you're actually going to want to hold left click again, and then you're going to want to hold Alt on your keyboard, and then you can go up, down, and of course you can reposition it whatever way you want to. It's very easy to get a hand of the controls. It should only take you, you know, a couple hours depending on how much you use the program. Now I know that these lines and dots probably look very confusing. Each model might be different, so depending on what they have, it might be different, but as you can tell, they are named. So this one is named tongue, so that would be the tongue. This one is neck 2, so you can go to your rotate tool and you can change it whatever way you want. So whichever way you drag it, it'll go a different direction. You can just play around with this. There's really nothing much to demonstrate with it, but you can just play around with it whatever way you want. I think I might actually position it down a little bit more by holding Alt. And I'm gonna move the neck so it's like that, but then we'll actually grab, where's the head? There we go, there's the head. And I think we'll go up with it kind of, and maybe give it a little bit of a tilt, or I'm gonna try to play around with this for a little bit. All right, I kind of like that. Now we'll do the eyes. So I'm gonna move it so these two lines are perfectly centered. within the dot. That means it's going to be looking straight at the camera. Now what I like to do is I like to raise kind of like one of the corners of the mouth up. To do that, you can click on this tool right here, which is the move tool, and then you can go up like this. This is kind of just trial and error. It's kind of hard to explain for you guys, but it's also kind of self-explanatory, and you can switch between these tools too. So I kind of want it to look something like that, but that doesn't look too natural, so we'll put it something like that. Next, I like to make the characters look kind of angry. It depends on what facial expression you want to do, but I tend to make them look angry. And then we could play around with the eyebrows as well, so she looks kind of even more angry. I think I want to move this up. Doesn't look too good. And I might move her eyelids down a little bit as well. Yeah, that looks pretty decent. All right, once you got all that figured out, you can move her arms as well. So we'll go ahead and actually go to our work camera, which you can move this away any way you want. So as you can tell, these little lines right here, this is your camera one. So if you put your work camera right here, that's of course how your camera one is going to look like somewhat. But you can move your work camera around any way you want, and it basically describes it pretty well. You can work in any direction you way, but you can go back to camera one and it'll still be the same, which is very nice. So like, let's say you want to work on her arm, which is the same way. You would click on it and you can move these around any way you want. You can move it out, in, back, forward. So we'll make it like this kind of. We'll go ahead and move it. We'll go ahead and move it out somewhat, and then we'll move this in. So from that angle, it kind of symbolizes she has her arm on her hip. Now, obviously, if it was zoomed out more, that would look very bad. You would have to position this a lot better to the point where her hand is kind of like that. Her arm is up more. It's all trial and error, but when we move back in, it looks obviously like she has her hand on her hip. Now this arm back here, it doesn't matter too much. Now, this is a very, very important tip of making your thumbnails, guys. We're moving on to lighting now. And it can definitely make or break your thumbnail depending on how good your lighting is. So what I like to do is I like to zoom out for my first set of lighting. And how to add lighting is you want to right click on your animation set editor again and go to create animation set up, depending on what you want to do. I think I'm going to keep that right there. That looks pretty good. Now, depending on which way the face is looking and which way you want the sun to be in the background, you can create two sets of light for that. So the sun is most likely going to be coming from up here to down on this side of the face. So we'll hold A and we'll just basically move Alt and stuff like that to reposition it, or whichever way you want to go with it. Now, for the lighting on the face where the sun is actually going to be shining, I kind of like to make it a little bit more zoomed out, but also a little bit more towards the face, right? Because that's the way the light's going to be coming from. So I think right there is about good. Make a new light. Now you can just leave it there for now. Don't reposition it back because we're going to do the other side now. We're going to have this side, however, zoomed in a little bit more, but not out this way too much. We're going to want it more inwards this way. So kind of zoomed in right there. Yeah, like that. And hold up. There we go. And create a new light. So we'll move back to our original position now. We'll try to figure that out. That looks about right. Now, just do the same thing that I did with your first light. You can lower the intensity. So about right there. Looks actually very nice. Now for this side, you're gonna kind of want to lower it down, so it's not like that where it just looks really bad, but also not too low. So I think we're gonna make like that, and we'll go ahead and change the horizontal POV of that, and maybe the vertical as well. Now the vertical doesn't do much, but now of course you can do other ways of lighting you want. You can move it all the way up, and you can put a lighting downwards on her head. You can just do it straight from the back. I don't really recommend it, or hold up, there we go. I don't really recommend it though, because it doesn't really give a good direction of which way the light's coming from. So our thumbnail is pretty much done. Go ahead and reposition it to whichever way you want. And then now here comes to actually rendering out your model. So what you're going to want to do for this, these are the best render settings. It's been confirmed. You're going to want to right click on your screen, head to render settings, Now for this, all you're going to want to do is change your number of samples for depth of field to 1024 override and uncheck motion blur. That's all you got to do. Those are the best render settings right there. Now to actually render out your model, you're going to want to go up to File, go to Export. Now make sure it's on poster, okay? I know image would sound a lot better because obviously you want to do it to an image, but click on poster, okay? And then you can save it or just continue without saving because I'm not going to be using this one again. Save it to wherever you want. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. That's where I always save it to. And we'll just call this example or video or something. So once it's saved to wherever you want to be, make sure it's on a PNG, not TGA or JPEG. And then make sure the image size is 1920 by 1080 pixels, constrained proportions, and that's pretty much all you gotta do. Then export poster, and then depending on how much stuff is actually in your thumbnail or how fast your PC is, this can take up to 5 minutes to render. Like I said, it really all depends. So we'll wait till this and then we'll head over to Photoshop. Alright guys, now that our model has finally finished rendering, go ahead and open Photoshop. I actually have a little template of my own that I have created for 3D thumbnails. So I have a few CCs. This is my own right here. I have this one for grass, and then sometimes I use this one for snow. It's not too much of a difference though. And then I also have other CC packs like Chronic Lairdos, or well, his name is Evade Lairdo now because obviously Chronic changed to Evade. So I downloaded his pack. So we'll actually go ahead and move these into here. I'll show you what his looks like. So as you can tell, his is not too saturated and vibrant, which is why I like mine a lot more. However, you definitely can add vibrance to that if you wanted to, but we'll just be sticking with mine for this video. So go ahead and import your image into Photoshop, wherever you saved it. Go ahead and grab it. Now, like I said, this is how the green screen comes into handy a lot. So go ahead and make or rasterize the layer on this so you can actually do this process, which is actually grabbing your magic wand tool. And then basically just click on one part of the green screen, have a selection. Now hold shift, and then you can also get more selections. So the only other part that I see that's green is these two parts right here. So we'll go ahead and do that and that. Once you do that, go ahead and click on your rectangular tool right here, and then just right click and layer via cut, and then just delete the layer on that. Now you're left with a PNG of your model. So we'll go ahead and reposition this to how I like it. Now I might actually add some lighting behind the character because it definitely doesn't look the absolute best right now without any glow behind it. So then we'll go ahead and lower the opacity on that, and you know, you can just do whatever you want in it with Photoshop. I think I'm actually going to change up the background because I don't really like that one too much. Actually, I think we're going to do this one right here, motion blur. I like that. That looks a lot better. It's definitely a lot more contrast with that. So yeah guys, now you have officially made a 3D thumbnail. Drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, turn on the post notification bell. If you guys are looking for any work to be done, hit me up on Twitter. This was just a quick little tutorial. Obviously a lot of my other thumbnails, there's a lot more work put into them, and there's a lot more, you know, hours and stuff put into them, but this is just a quick tutorial. But yeah guys, I'm Hvdrooo. Let me know if you guys want more of these down in the comments below, and yeah, I'm out of here. Peace.